Trading the foreign exchange market carries high risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Trading on margin, utilizing leverage can carry an even higher level of risk that can lead to a complete loss of investment funds. So before deciding to trade the foreign exchange market or using any of our software alert products, you should carefully and diligently consider your personal investment objectives, level of experience, and risk tolerance. There is a possibility that you could potentially sustain significant loss. You should not invest any capital or trade that you cannot afford to lose. It is your responsibility to be aware of and understand all risks associated with foreign exchange trading and to seek professional advice from an independent certified financial advisor if you have any doubts. Auvoria Prime does not exercise trading authority over your trades. You and you alone exercise discretionary trading authority over every trade.
This one seemed like a standard setup. Don't know if it's going to work or not, but we have the bounce, arrow, go, and we are in the direction of the trade. So that seemed like it was fit all the criteria. So I am going to go for the 20 pips on this one. The ones that I'd go for the 5 pips, to answer your question, the ones I generally go for only 5 pips are ones that are trading into a really narrow zone. But I still have, rather than, let's say, shy of the 20, but maybe I get 15 pips out of it. And I have the direction in my favor based on our chart that shows us the strength of the different currencies. So that's why I generally go. And we've been seeing more and more of that lately, where things are just really range bound in a really tight range during this session. So rather than just sit here and not do anything, I like taking the 5 pips that go for 5 or 7 pips. That way I can use I use a tighter stop. So rather than using 40 pip stop, I'll use a 15 pip stop. And that allows me to pretty much double or almost triple my lot size. And that's the purpose of doing that. So just to answer that question, hopefully that does. And so right now what we have is we have a bounce, arrow, the bounce arrow go, that's about as simple and about as easy as it gets. We have a down arrow, and if we scroll out into our charts, you are seeing my screens, my charts, right?
I've seen.
Okay. And we are in a downtrend. We have 4 red zones, 1 green zone. This is about as classic and about as classic and about as clean as it gets as far as the setup goes. We have 4 red zones. We have 1 green zone. We're on a 15-minute chart. We had the scroll out. And this is basically the main strategy that this whole thing was developed on, was to get a bounce. It comes off the bounce arrow, and we have like 40 pips to the zone. So I'm only going for the 20. There's nothing wrong with saying you want to go for a bigger move. I mean, we can do that. But if I can get 20 pips out of this move, I'm a happy camper. So, and we're in the money zone. So here's this. I'll move this over here to mark the money zone. And here's the overnight high. We did have a break earlier this morning to the upside of the overnight, from the overnight high before the money zone. Here's the overnight low before the money zone. It didn't really break the bottom, but it did come up and break where this line was right here. And we got the break off of this candle. And so right at this candle where the break was, I don't know if we have 20 pips or not. You have 16. You've been a little bit short on the 20 pips to the upside, but that also would have been counter trend based on the zones of because you are in a downtrend. Now we got the bounce, strong move down. And now we're looking for, this would be the ultimate target right down here. The zone is the ultimate target. We could move our target down, but like I said, oftentimes I will just go for my 20 pips and be happy with that. I try not to get greedy. I always try and leave a little bit for the next guy. Remember, when you trade the foreign exchange or any trade with any entity, it's a zero-sum game. There's a buyer and there's a seller. So part of my philosophy is I try and get out a little bit earlier so that whoever I sell to or buy from, they have a chance to make a little bit of money as well. So I try and make more. And so let's go to the news and see actually let's go to the heat map first and see what we have with the heat map. And here's what we're looking at primarily for the strength. Now, one thing I didn't like about this was it was a British US to the short side. and the U.S. is stronger than the British pound on pretty much all four pairs. But it fit the criteria, and I use this for almost every trade. I look at this chart just to see where the strength is. And this is another reason why I went for a little bit longer, wider spread and a little bit longer target, because it really didn't align with this, because the British pound is weak, the dollar is stronger, and British USD. Actually, that does fit. It does fit. Actually, does fit.
You had me worried, Al.
Yeah, I haven't had my coffee at this moment. Well, actually, I have had my coffee, but it hasn't kicked in yet. Yeah, the U.S. dollar is stronger, and since the dollar is the second currency of the pair of the British USD, that means that the dollar is going to be the strongest, and we're on to a down. So this does fit the criteria really nicely, actually. And we check out some news, see if we have any news today. And we have, this is Monday, today is Tuesday. And we do have some red folders here at 8:30, so we have to be careful with that. That's with the US dollar. So hopefully maybe we'll be out of this trade by that time, or maybe these red folders will push it to our profit zone. And we have some other New Zealand at 10 o'clock. And that's pretty much it on this chart. There may be something else on the Forex Factory. Let me see if I can find that. There's my news on my Forex Factory. I'm gonna find it. I had a problem finding it yesterday.
I'm just noticing that some of my charts don't have the arrow template on it. They disappeared overnight.
You know, I noticed, and CB, maybe you can confirm this, is that I have that little alert box that pops up, and sometimes I get alerts on the box, but they're not showing on the chart.
Yeah, so what I can tell you guys with certainty from beta testing is that occasionally you'll get that you'll have a no red or green box. You'll click on it and there'll be an arrow in that time frame, saying that it should have had a box. And then sometimes you get the opposite, even where there is a highlighted box, you click on it and there is no arrow. Nate is very aware of that. He had told me that the hope was to push an update to fix that this last weekend. Obviously, that hasn't happened yet, but he said that it's going to be happening pretty soon, that we'll have an updated dashboard that will fix up some of those, misses or mistakes, if you will, with the indicators on the dashboard.
Is that like an internal programming glitch?
Yes, I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah.
One good thing is that if you keep the box, that alert box comes up, it'll still give you. That's almost like your backup, so that if it's.
I wasn't even getting alerts. I didn't get any alerts since yesterday, and I wondered about that. And now I'm noticing why, because half my charts don't even have arrow loaded on it. It's weird. I don't know.
From you mean when you click on the dashboard, Ava?
I haven't done the dashboard yet, so I'm still working off of the way it used to be.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering why. I was looking at Al's, and I noticed he had an alert for the German on the 15. I'm thinking, well, why didn't I see that? And that's when I noticed that there's nothing on my German chart, and I just put them all back on. Half of them didn't have anything on it. There was no arrow on it.
That's weird.
Yeah. So.
There was always, every time you have changes, there's always a little glitch sometimes.
Right?
There's always something. That's just programming. That's just computers. So
I've got a question for you, though, Al.
Okay. All right.
That you could probably apply to whatever you're looking at here, the German. Daniela's asking, can you show us how the 200 moving average would play a part on this trade, please?
On the British USD?
I'm assuming, yeah.
Okay, let me go and put that back on here. British, where to go? There it is. Okay, so let's go and put I'll just show you people how to put this on again, just to make sure everybody knows. I believe you go to Insert Indicators at the top, come back down here where it says moving average should be indicators, moving, where to go, trends. It's a trending indicator, and then come over here to moving average. Click on the moving average, set up 200, and I make mine purple exponential. Apply on the close, and then click OK. And you can see how the moving average. Now this is nice. You got the arrow after it broke through the 200 moving average. We have the arrow moving averages pointing down. You have the 200 moving average. It's kind of going sideways. We had a nice little break, and you got the arrow after that. The arrow was all the way down here at the. This is where the arrow is generated at the close of that candle. So if you open up this little short candle, so everything's, the only thing that hasn't happened yet is that we haven't had the cross of these two moving averages. And if this arrow moving average can cross over below the, and that's going to help give us a nice, you can almost use this blue moving average as almost like a trend line to stay in the trade. I don't usually use these as trend lines, but I also know that a lot of times, as long as the price doesn't close above this moving average, it's okay to stay in that trade. That way, if it takes some heat, just use that as a guide. That as long as it stays above that, this thing could still keep on going down for quite a while. So, but yeah, that's how you would use this. Now you can see where this moving average, it crossed over here, and it just went sideways. It's really not much of an angle to that moving average. It came down here, it came close to crossing over. You were thinking it was going to break out, but it didn't. And it could be the same thing that's happening over here too. But right now, it came down, it didn't cross, and went right back up again. But right now, you have a nice little close above or close below this moving average. As over here, you had to close above both moving averages, which drove it back up to retest this. So right now, as long as everything's in a great spot, just stay in this trade until you either get your target or it gives you a reason to get out. But I like this trade. It's basing right now. Here's a drop, base, drop. Now it could come up and I would not be surprised to see it come up and retest this little area right in here, because there's a nice drop, base, drop. There's a little flag pattern developing right now. It could come up and retest this little base in here. Let me see if I can insert a shape. This area right in here, I'm kind of looking at to. I will not be surprised to see it come back up and retest inside this area. If it does, that's fine. You're still way, the moving average is still in play, and just let it let it go against you a little bit. If it does that, nothing's, and just see if it can go for your target. I like this area right here off to the left. Right. Here's the origin of the strong move up. Here you see a little bit of a basing going on in here. And that's one reason why I like my target right where it is. See if it can get through this. It's probably they may find a little bit of a bounce off of this area. We'll just mark that and just see if, just keep that in mind. So they're right in here. If I was only going for the 5 pips, my target would be up above before it got to this zone. But right now we're going to go for a little bit more. If it starts getting down to that zone and starts bouncing around, I may pull the trade and wait for it to come back up and retest this area, and then just get back in again. And if I see a means to do so. But right now everything's looking pretty good. And any other questions about this trade right now? See if you get a chance, can you show the bearish flag on any chart to recognizing it? You can recognize bullish flags, but the bearish ones are a bit more challenging. Bearish flags are really, just the reverse of what the bullish flag is. Basically, think of it as a flagpole. Think of it, you have this strong extended range candle. That's your flagpole. Now, just like basically putting that flagpole upside down, you have a strong move down and you have a basing. It doesn't really matter if if you want to call it flag or basing or what you want to call it, but generally speaking, is you have a high and a low, and then you start having higher lows and lower highs. And so that's basically what it is, just this little form right here. And here's your flag. So here's your pivot low. Here's a retest. There's your flag. Here's your flagpole. Here's your flag. And then usually a lot of times what I look at is if you get this pattern like this, oftentimes your target will be the distance between when it breaks out of the flag and the top of the pole, basically. So if I were to draw a stick, this is actually you could use this as your flagpole. You could use that. I may shorten it up a little bit to where the arrow is. And then you come back down once it breaks, here's your target. And I see my target is right inside that, where that target would be. This would be a 1-to-1 ratio. This would be a drop, a base, a drop. And oftentimes the second drop is equal to the drop of the first drop. Looks like it's trying to break out right now as we speak. Now, if I were to take it from where the arrow was and shorten this up, you'll probably see that it's going to be right where my target is. Here's where it's breaking. And see right here's where my target is. That's for 20 pips. It's amazing how that works out. Like I said, if it comes down here and starts having a hard time getting through, I'll just close the trade out. And let's see. We'll just keep an eye on this one. Let's see. We have a couple other British Swiss. That could be something that might be. See if that one has.
Al, excuse
Yes.
me for a moment. Can you let Christine in, please?
Oh, sure. Thank you for letting me know that she's here today.
No problem.
Christine, where are you? There she is. Promotion. There we go. And good morning, Christine.
Good morning, everybody.
There's your break.
Sorry, I'm late.
No, that's okay. Not a problem. And let's see what else we have. This is starting to work out very nicely. This one does not have the bounce. It has a nice arrow, but doesn't have the bounce. Now the question would be, would the British Swiss be a tradable trade? Tradable direction, I guess I should say. See if I can find where'd my chart go? I lost my heat map. No, that's not it. Oh, there it is. It's hiding. So we're looking at the British Swiss. Swiss is strong. Swiss is strong. Swiss is strong. Strong. British is weak on all three time frames. So we could take this from the heat map standpoint. We don't have the bounce. We have the arrow. Again, this would be one that'd be more apt to take. If I have 15 pips from the arrow to the target, and we have 22 pips, I would be willing to go for 5 pips with this one. We have it in the right direction. The Swiss is strong to the British pound on all 4 time frames. And I would probably be willing to take this one for a 5 pip move. Sell. Modify. Take this up to, and I use 15 pip stop, which is 150 on the stop side, and we go for 70, 7 pips on the buy side, or on the target side. Set the trade, and boom. And British USD, British US. Oh, British Swiss. Oh, shoot, I just did the wrong one. I gotta change this back. I grabbed the wrong one. You got to be careful with that when you do these things. And then my target, make sure I get my target the right spot. British Swiss. This is the one I want to go with 15. This is one reason I said it didn't give me the correct setup, but it did give me the direction. And I have the room to the correct side. So this is where I usually go for the 7 pips or 5 pips. Boom, there it goes. And I mean, ultimately the target could be all the way down here, which would be 20 pips, but I'm only going to go for, I might be, and I'm just going to let it go for the 5. If I can get 5 pips out of this with, because I have a larger lot size on this, so my stop is shorter, my lot size can be bigger. Remember, the lot size is your profit regulator, or your stop size. That's your profit regulator. And we look and see if this thing, make sure this thing is in the right direction. We have more red than green, so this is in a downtrend. We have a down arrow, so it is with the trend. And we're only going for, I'm only going for the 7 pips on this one. And I needed my down arrow. Right there. Scroll this back up. And also when I go with the 5, I always like to check the 5-minute chart to see if there's any zones that are in the way. And actually there is one right here that is in the way. If it can break through that, if it can't break through this zone, then I'll be out of this trade before it hits my 15 pip target. Or my 50 pip stop, I should say. But we do have, here's a drop, here's a base. It's a little bit bigger base than I would like to see, but it's still okay. I'm on a 5-minute chart. Here's a higher, here's a high, here's a lower high. And now we have pretty much the base of the money zone. And we'll see if it can break through this money zone. If it does, there's a good chance it's going to come all the way down to, could go all the way down to this area.
You've got a German too, Al.
German too. All right, here we go. 5-minute chart. Let's see. Now this one, I don't have any means of determining whether or not where the strength is on this one. So this one's going to have to be kind of a take it as you see fit, I guess.
Oh, isn't it the same thing?
Well, we had this thing one thing I don't like, this came all the way down here, was rejected. So this would be a good target area, but it came down, came back right up, and it's right back into this zone again. It would have to, let's see, what is it? This is a sell. How much room do we have here? Yeah, you have to be careful. Make sure you kind of measure it, because sometimes these charts can be deceiving. Oh, let's see. It looks like we have about $61 move on this one. 32. Yep, about $61 move. This could be a nice little trade. Let's see where the 200 moving average is. See if it's bouncing off of that at all. Template load. I should be able to. I think I have my 200 moving average on this one. Here's my 200 moving average. Nice. Here we get starting to get the cross. This is a little bit like what the what happened to my British US trade here. Here's a nice arrow. We're getting the crossover the moving averages. We are starting to get some strength to the downside. You know, just back off your lot size a little bit on this one. I think we take a sell on this. Moving averages are good. We had a strong move down. It may come back down and retest this. We have a trend line coming on down. I'll do a sell on that one. I'm going to go for $5. Lots of trades today.
That's a good
So
thing.
in a 15 to 29, I'm going to give it $10. So 15 to, I'll use the moving averages on this one. 15 to 43. 15 to 15 prefer to have my stops in a place where it looks like a safety on the charts, rather than just going with a straight number for a pip stop. I like to find that zone where I don't expect it to break through. In this case, I'd like to see it stay above the moving averages. And then the target's going to be, we could do the target all the way down here at 15,194. That's where it was rejected the last time. Maybe move it up here a little bit. Just keep an eye on it. British US, it's gonna took a little bit, went a little bit against us there, but let's see what it's doing now. We did have the breakout. It coming back. It's like almost like a little retest. It's coming back to retest that little breakout of the wedge. Still in a good spot. Still lots of room to the downside.
So do we know what the percentages for winning trades on Arrow is?
I think the basic, it really varies with people as to what their emotional inventory is spent and how they, which strategies. I mean, there's the main basic Arrow strategy, the bounce arrow go, which is one we took on that British US. I believe the winning percentage is about 80%. Now, keep in mind a lot of that, and so, but they've added. There was originally just a one strategy, which is what we did with this British US, bounce, arrow, go. But then as we started using this and people started trading different entities, they've developed other strategies just to give more trades, especially during some of these live sessions that we're running. I don't know what the percentage of that is. I say I'm probably running pretty close to 80% wins on the ones that I'm using. I think 80% is a pretty reasonable expectation. You're not going to win them all, but it's relatively high, basically. But a lot has to do with whether you're trying to force trades or are you taking trades that may be a little bit iffy. Everybody's going to have their own different percentage because everybody's trading personality is a little bit different. But I think 80% is a pretty good ballpark figure about what the average win rate is. When I started going for these shorter moves, these 5 pip moves, I say it's every bit of 80% wins, maybe even a little bit higher than that. And that's one reason I'm really happy with just going. I take a larger lot size, and again, I'll show the method of why we do what we do with the with our pip calculator. Let's see, where is it here? Let's see if I can. Let's scroll this up here. There we go. That's kind of what I'm looking for with a pip calculator. So let's say we have, again, this is why we say it's there. The stop is your profit regulator. If you have, I'll just put this in with a $1,000 account, which I think is a good place to start. You're going to risk 2%. 2% of $1,000 is going to be $96. If I have a stop of a 40 pip stop, you can see that 40 pip stop still with 2% of the account, I'm risking $2, and this is my lot size. If I can cut this stop down from 40 to 15, you'll see that the lot size is going to increase. So if I can make a trade with a 15 pip stop, I still have the same $20 risk, but now my lot size has just increased about 3 times. And so, like I said, the stop is your profit regulator, and that regulates what lot size you can take. So I can take, if I can cut my stop down, I can take a larger lot size, and if I use 15 pip stop and a 7 pip target, I'm rather than, then I would be getting roughly, that's basically 2 to 1, a 2 pip stop for every pip of profit. That would give me a 1% risk. If I want to change this risk to 4%, now I'd be looking at, that would give me 15 pip risk, and they'll give me a 2%, which is basically half of what the risk is. And a lot of times I'll do somewhere between 2 and 3%. So I'd be willing to risk $1,000, be willing to risk $30 with a 15 pip stop. But if that gives me 80% of the time I'm winning my trade, I can take a larger lot size. And this will be, and if we go to the British USD, which is what we are in right now, slide over here, drop it down to the British USD, and you'll see that it's still going to be the same thing, same $30, but it does change the lot size based on what the price value of the British USD is. And that's all I can say about that. And how our trade's doing, right? They're hanging in there. Any more questions?
Can we, Philip is asking if we can look at the Aussie CAD cell analysis on the 15-minute.
Aussie CAD's 15-minute cell. I'm not seeing a cell on the Aussie CAD 15-minute.
I don't think there was an alert. He's just wondering if you could
about
do an
selling.
analysis for a cell.
Yeah, this one, okay, well, we can look and see this. Zoom in, see what our trend is. Right now I'm seeing 4 red and 2 green, so it's in a downtrend. Downtrend here. And we're going to open it up a little bit. So we're in a downtrend. We don't have an arrow yet. We are in it, moving averages, the arrow moving average is going up, so I wouldn't want to take it short. If I did take it short, I would be looking at the target of a bounce off of, just like this bounced off of here. I'd be looking at no more than a, just off the top of my head, if let's say we got an arrow right here, I'd still be looking at only 6 pips to that side. If it can break through the moving average, then we could look at the 23 pip target. But by that time, we're going to be down even lower. So from this target zone, in order to get 20 pips, I would have to be in this trade no less than at 95.83. 95.83-ish. So this would be my minimum entry for that. But I said right now you have an upward moving average. Now we'll go and check to see what the 200 moving average is. So I'm going to load that in off my template. And the 200 moving average is down below. So right now, and that's pointing up. So I do not like this at all for a short. I could possibly maybe go for a bounce off the moving averages to the upside, in which case I would be looking at, this would be the target for the bounce. I would have to see it bounce. I'd have to see it bounce off the 200 moving average. So this is where I would want my entry to be here to go to the upside. But I would not want to take it short. It's just too much pressure going up. We have the crossover of the moving averages. This thing's pointing up. You can see where this thing came down, and we have our little wedge right here. So we have here's this move down into the zone, came back out, retest the zone. This little wick right here is higher than this one. So that's given us our beginning of our trend line. This is on the 15-minute. So I would say from this bounce, and I'd be probably moving it right about into, since I don't really have a drop, I would expect this thing, we have strong move up, had a pullback, made another little high with a wick. This is a pivot high, but I would be looking at it to come and bounce off of this 200 moving average, which would break the low of this one, but then come back up and retest. So I would not like to be taking this thing short right now. It's not quite ready to go short. What happened to our trade here? Did we get anything? We got stopped out on our bid on a German 30. That's bit. That one didn't work out. How about our British Swiss? Where's that one?
Al, when you do have a moment at some point, maybe later on in the session, if you could just go over where they can find the calculator again.
Oh, yes. Where is that calculator?
I'm sure others might ask. That's why I said later on in the session. So you can capture everybody.
See if I can find, you know, I'm not sure if they, I'll have to, yeah, I'm going to have to look for that one.
Yeah, because I still have a problem finding that thing.
Yeah, we might just have to put the link in. I just have to drop the file in, but then they can't really, then they won't get the updates is the problem with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we get a chance here, I'll see if I can find it. Let me start looking while things are a little slow here. Whoops, what happened to my, oh, that didn't work out very well, did it? You're not seeing anything, are you?
No, just your Hawkeye screen.
Why did I lose my screen here? There we go.
Are you still there, Al?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just looking. I'm looking for that calculator.
That's so silent. I thought,
Yeah, no, I'm looking for the calculator as per request there.
it's not very intuitive where they.
Well, yeah, I mean, I can pull it. Part of the problem is I can pull it up, but I'm not sure everybody else can. I tell you what,
we determined last time that it has to be shared with you in order for you to bring it up with the videos part. And I think you were going to talk to Bill about putting it somewhere where everybody can get at it easily, because a lot of us can't do that. Can't get.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to put this link in the chat box, and somebody can tell me if they can open it. You may have to hit the download button or the edit button. There's an edit, but I'm going to put it in the chat box and let me know if there's any luck getting it, because that way I'll know for sure that we need to get something done with it. I'm not so sure that this shouldn't work. I think this link should work. Try that link and see if you can open it. I know I can. I'm just not sure everybody else can. See a link in the chat box?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't get to everybody here. Let me get to everybody. All VALs attendees.
All right, I'm able to open it.
You are? Okay. If you're able to open, then everybody should be able to open it as well. Can you make adjustments to it?
I'm just the drop down boxes aren't.
And you may have to. There may be an edit where you have to open up for it to be able to allow to edit on there.
Oh,
somewhere.
Okay. It pops up as request edit access.
Yeah.
Oh,
click
so we
on
have
that.
to ask you.
Click on that, and then that should be able to.
No, we have to ask you.
You have to ask me?
We have to send you a message asking you, can we edit this?
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not good.
Okay.
They've got to share it somewhere where it's
There was a means for you to be able to download it. Can you download it?
Yeah, it pops up as view only, and you can only view this document. To make changes, ask the owner for edit access. I don't think you want everybody emailing you for edit access.
No, we don't want to do that.
So it's not good that way either.
Yeah, okay. We'll have to, we will address that. I'll talk to Bill today about that if I can get a hold of him. Yeah, it should be, yeah, I mean, I can, well, I'm not even sure I can, yeah, I can drop it down. And I knew there was something I had to open up to be able to edit it or to be able to make changes, but yeah, we have to work on that.
Yeah.
But right now, so far, looking at the trades that we have, we're still showing my trade screen, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But can I just ask one more question? Daniela says that she managed to get it. Daniela, can you please let us know how you got the link? She said she didn't get it here. She had to go around a different route to get there. So I'm not sure what that means. If you could put that in the Q&A, then we can share that with the group.
I think I may have sent it to her directly.
I
That's
don't
the
know.
other thing. That's the other thing too. You can email trademasters@gmail.com, and then I can send you the file. That's probably what I'm pretty sure I gave that one to Danielle because she emailed me and I sent her the.
She didn't say that though. She just said I took a different route to get there.
That might have been the different route she took.
So I think she would have said that she got it directly from Al if that was the case. No.
Oh. Let's see. Oh, we're still waiting for some more alerts. We're still hanging in there with our trades. We're down 4 pips on the one. Actually, we're down about 4 pips on. And I like to do the profit as points. So that way I have the dollar amount. And I also have the pip amount. Plus, you also have the pip counter right over here. So it shows you where you're at with the trade. I'm kind of annoyed that I just got stopped down that German 30. Let's see where that one. I may have had my stop too tight on that one.
Yeah, I'm still hanging in there.
Yeah, I think I had my stop too tight. I think I had it up to the moving. I think I had it at the moving average. And say, CB, while I have you on here with your Neo, what time frames are you using for mode 1 and mode 2, if I may ask?
You mean risk management, the risk?
Well, the risk and what chart time frame?
Oh, well, as far as the chart time frames, it doesn't matter at all. It's very similar to variable.
Okay.
The only thing you need is, you have 2 charts open for the pound CAD, and they both have to be 1 hour or lower time frames. It doesn't. You could have 2 H1s. I for whatever reason usually have one at H1 and one at M15, but
Okay.
it doesn't really matter. Neo's
Okay.
not going to change it. What it does is, similar to variable, as long as you have it at the 1 hour or lower time frame.
That's why I was having problems loading it on the higher time frame, because it doesn't look like that. Okay. Okay, good. Well, that answers my question.
Cool.
Yeah, when I reset my VPS for it to be able to get this, when you reset your VPS, when you have the company give you a new VPS login and reset the VPS, you're going to lose all your saved charts, all your saved templates.
Yeah.
And I didn't have them. I wasn't thinking that, and so I didn't have the template saved, which means I had to go back from rote memory what I set them to. I just need to verify that one.
I've been in Neo now since February 26th and have had 0 down days. Every single day has been profitable with Neo.
Yeah, mine's been doing pretty good as well. I haven't had any, at least unless I had something different from last night. And I have a couple of times when it hasn't taken trades, but part of that could have been the fact I may have just missed the entry, the alert on it. I may have done. Okay, yeah. Here we have another British Swiss. We're still already in this trade. So this one's still looking good. This is on a 5-minute chart. Now, again, we're having a little bit of a problem getting through this little green zone, but everything, the arrow moving average is down. Let me take a look and see where our 200 moving average. I'm not sure which is easier, just putting it on with the template or just bringing it up every time. It's sort of like a 50-50 here. I like having my stop a little bit above all my moving averages. It would be better to probably have it above this little zone. If it comes back and retests this, it's probably going to retest the moving average first. It could come all the way up and retest this little zone right here. Insert shape. I would be looking at this little area right in here as a something you have to pay attention to. This would be a retest. This would be a drop, base, drop. It could come up and retest this, but I'm looking for this being the basing just to go down again. And then this would be the retest area once we get the break. There's the zone just went away. That's a good thing. So give it room to breathe.
So, hey, Al, it's interesting. I'm just looking at your dashboard to mine right now. Do me a, this could be a counter trend trade, but I'm more interested just to see if you have an arrow. The Euro USD on the 5-minute, I have a green arrow on my dashboard and you don't, which is weird. Just click on it and see if you have an arrow there. You do.
I do. Yep.
Yeah. See, there's an example of dashboard not populating properly. I just wanted to confirm
so
that.
You had it and I didn't.
Yeah. Are you on Envy right now?
Yep, I'm on Envy.
Yeah. So we're both on Envy, and for some reason, this is an example where you did not get a green box, and I do have a green box for the 5-minute on Euro USD.
And so this would be the entry. Now we have yeah, this would be a count. Well, according to this, it would be a counter trend.
Yeah, it is.
Trade.
It's a counter. Yeah, it's a counter trend. It's also on the 5-minute. The 15-minute looks okay. By the way, it just doesn't have an arrow either on it.
Yeah, we just got British Swiss. Let's take a look at that one.
That's the one you're already in.
Oh, that's one we're already in. Okay, so I don't need to open that one up again. You just keep an eye on that. That's on the 5-minute. Again, most of the time we're looking at taking the trades off the 15-minute. And actually here on this 15-minute, it's actually a little doji right there where we got the alert on this. So then right here is where the entry would have been. Here's our target. Now I've got my target so way down here so actually the target should be up a little bit higher here right now. I think the zone may have popped up before then. But I'm going to move it to the top of this zone.
Okay, we've got 10 minutes to red folder news.
Oh, 8:30. That's the witching hour.
Yeah.
Let's see how our heat map is doing. See if we have anything that we need to be looking at.
Yoda is asking, how is Swiss not following along with gold? Something fishy happening in these markets. Does Swiss normally follow with gold?
Oh, Swiss not following along with gold. Swiss not following along. I don't know the answer to that. I don't have gold on here. Let me see if.
Which answers my next one of the other comments in Q&A. Gold 15-minute chart W formation. Can we analyze it?
I don't have gold on these. Why don't I should probably put gold on here. Let me see if I can put gold on here real quick. Yeah, gold. Let's see, get my view here. Symbol list, make sure it's on the list. That's cryptos, metals. Gold versus US dollar show. Put that on the list. Marketplace. XAU USD. Experts. Properties. And we put a comma, capitals, XAU USD. Save. And gold is going strong here. And let's put this on a, let's see where are we at here. I haven't looked at gold for a little bit. What is gold doing? The 1730 area. Looks like we're in a downtrend with the lots of red folders, red zones up above. Arrow down. And this is on the 5 minutes. Let's see what it looks like on the 15 minutes. See if it's the same thing. Same zone, right about the same place. Yeah, as far as the answer, as far as why gold following the Swiss, I don't know the answer to that one. I don't know if it does or doesn't.
Yeah, I was unaware that.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that
All
either.
of each other.
But maybe something to take a look at. Gold's going up. Swiss
thought it
is
was
still
broad
strong.
rally.
Yeah, I mean, right now the Swiss is relatively strong. Looking at our chart here, the Swiss is relatively strong on the 4 time frames, and gold is going in the upward direction. So in that case, it is following the Swiss somewhat. And let's see, any other questions while we're waiting around here? We have news in about 1 minute. We'll see what happens with our, let's see, let's take a look at the British Swiss since we're in that trade. And British USD, it was USD news, I believe. So British USD. Let's see what it does. If it starts going way against us on the news, we may want to bail on the trade. There's the 30-minute candle just closed and reopened, and Euro British.
Boy, it's amazing. As soon as it hit 8:30, the price started to really fluctuate on the USD there.
So it was a red folder, so therefore that one does have some pop to it for the news announcement.
We're getting a lot of lower wicks, and now it's going against us.
Got a nice little wick right here.
Yep.
Let's go to a 5-minute chart and see what it looks like on the 5-minute. How about our daily range on this British USD? We have 38 of 61 on the daily range, so there's still some room for it to move. And it's starting to move in our direction. So that's where these news announcements, they'll give you a little bit of a whipsaw. It'll take you, it starts searching for stops. It takes the stops in one direction, takes the stops in the other direction, then decides which way it's going to go. So that's why you need to make sure you have lots of room on your targets and your, at least enough room on your stop to keep from getting stopped out. I said I prefer to take myself out of the trades. I use the stops as a guideline. I try not to let it go all the way to the stop before I get out. Usually there's a reason to get out before then with a smaller loss. Right now, as I said earlier, as long as this thing can stay below this moving average, I'm still okay. And we have a couple of zones we're looking at right here for the, well, we had this up here. And you see my stop is above this zone. So if it comes back up and retests this retest area, drop, base, drop, coming back to retest, this is retest zone. And my stop is way up here. So I still have lots of room to the upside. And I would expect a little bit of a bounce off of here or somewhere. I don't expect this zone to get penetrated to the other side. I think that zone should hold. If this zone doesn't hold, then we may be going to the upside. Then I may just pull this trade. Now this is one I had a 40 pip stop on. So CB, has anybody done any analysis that if you get a 5-minute and 15-minute or a 15 and a 30-minute alert all at the same time at the same, in other words, like the 15-minute candle is the same as, gives you the same alert as the 30-minute candle. Would that give you any idea of being stronger or maybe a stronger confirmation that the trade is going to be a good trade?
Right. I haven't heard that though. Certainly when you have multiple time frames all going in all are, long or short, not necessarily with an arrow, it's obviously a real good indicator, but I've certainly seen arrows on the M5 and M15 at the same time. I actually don't even have the M30 on my dashboard, but
okay. Because I would think if you get a higher time frame close on a 15-minute and a 5-minute together, if it's on the same candle, I would think that would give you maybe a little bit higher, another level of odds enhancer that the trade would work out in that direction.
Yeah.
It's something I'll pay attention to and see what the results are.
So the consumer price index news for USD came out a click higher than forecast, which might be strengthening the dollar, or I guess maybe weakening it. Right now, the US dollar's gotten a little weaker.
Yeah, it's still fairly weak. Let's see, this is the British pound. The British pound's still weak too. The British pound and US dollar are kind of neck and neck as far as strength.
Yeah. When we got into the trade, it was a bigger spread between the two.
Yeah. The dollar, yeah, on the higher time frames, the dollar, I mean, it's like they're number 2 and 3 together on all three. So yeah, basically they're pretty much just battling it out right now. So once that close, there's no real, one's not being more confirming than the other one.
Yeah, on the 15-minute chart for this pair, I'm not a big fan of all those wicks on the bottom, right? It's tested that. We might get a zone down there eventually.
Yeah. And it's retesting this little zone right in here.
Yep.
And
hopefully it'll bounce off the 200 moving average there.
Remember on this one we have a 40 pip stop on this one. Make sure my stop is still right. I don't know how to reset this. Maybe price that. So 37.60 should be the pretty close. And so if it can break through this little zone right here, I maybe wait for the pullback and then get out of the trade. But right now it's got 2 moving averages it has to get through. The arrow and then also the 200 moving average. This one's all news-based driven. The Swiss is still working out okay. The Swiss is still strong. We are short on that. Let's take a look at the British Swiss. Now this one you can see where it pulled back, tested that, and now it's heading in the right direction for us. The Swiss is strong on all time frames. Well, it sounds like the New York session won't be hosted by Jackie this morning. Sounds like she lost her voice.
So what do they do? Do they cancel it or?
Well, they're seeing if anybody else wants to host it. I suppose we could just stay in this room a little bit longer. You see the British USD is still, where's my, still taking some heat on this, but you can see it wicked right up. You know, this candle's not done yet. This 15 minute. Let's see what it looks like on the 5 minute. And the British is still no conclusion between the British. British is starting to get a little bit stronger on the lower time frames. We could possibly get an arrow on this one. Now I'm going to close this trade out. I don't like the way it's looking. Remove my zones.
I think a good lesson from this trade, Al, is to look at the news before we jump into a trade potentially. I don't know.
Well, as I got in, one thing I got into that one, I would have thought I'd been out of it by the time we got into it, or by the time the news came out, but that one didn't work.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes the news works in your favor too. It just is what drives you into that zone of profitability.
Yeah.
Like I said, they're not all going to work out. This one's what those British Swiss is working out okay. We're up 10 pips on that one. So I see you're going to win some, you're going to lose some. See if this one can come down and hit my target. Swiss is still strong. I don't know if we ever really got profitable on that British Swiss. We got in right here at the blue line, and she probably may have had. I don't know if we would have had 5 pips on this one or not. We got in right about here. Yeah, we could have gotten our 5 pips out of that one. Just going for more of a target. If I get 14 pips, I'll pull the trigger on this one. Maybe a little push down. Close enough. I'm out of there. No, we won one, lost one. Let's see. Like I said, we're not going to win them all. We just try and get, like we said, we're looking at if we can get 80% of our wins, we're doing better than the average person. And we're waiting for the next alert. That says so right now the Swiss will still be straight into the strength of the Swiss, weakness of the British. The British decided to stay fairly weak. And how about British Euro? Let's see what that's look like. Euro British 15 minutes, see what that chart looks like. This has some potential. Euro is strong to the British. Look at a 5-minute chart. Strength to the upside. I don't know that we have enough room here, this one. That's 11 pips. I'd like to have a little bit more on that one. And see where our moving averages are. Load that. Load our template. You have the cross of the moving averages. Here is the arrow. That was the 5-minute arrow. That probably would have been, I think it may have been there. It's a little bit out of the chute for the wanting to take the trade on that one. Well, I got some here. Let's take a look at New Zealand USD. What do we got here? Ooh, that's strong move up. Whenever you get these big candles like that, I don't like to just jump in oftentimes because you may get that pullback. That looks like that may have been news-based.
Yeah, the Euro USD, which also has a green alert, had a similar big wick off that news.
Yeah, when you get this, obviously that was a news announcement that had a little bit of oomph to it. So you may want to just let it settle down for at least another probably 20, 30 minutes. I think is usually good. Let it settle down and then see where you are after the next 30-minute candle. Give it time to settle in and then see where you want to try and take the trade. You say anything that's US based, it looks like could be. So here's where we have, like I said, we have a 5-minute, 15-minute candle together. And that's, there again, that's because of the news announcement. So no trade here. License too close to the zones. We had the candle. Let's just let that one settle in a little bit. Let's take a look at some other pair. Euro Swiss. Don't want to trade that. They're both strong. One Euro is still strong with the Swiss. Oh, I got the wrong one here. Euro. Let's see the Euro Swiss on that. Let's try that one. There's a bounce and an arrow. Ooh, let's see what we got here. Euro USD. That's the arrow. Buy. So we didn't get it on the alert here, but we have it on the other one. That other little pop-up chart gives another little backup for these alerts. Way too strong. See where our trend is. Trend is up. So we have an up arrow. Yeah, I don't know where the target on this one's going to be. Let's see if there's a zone at a higher time frame. Yep, there's one right there.
Al,
Yes,
what does ADR stand for on your dashboard?
average daily range.
Okay, so is that because you've got the 5 in parentheses, is that on a 5 minute? Is that like how does that, what does that mean?
That's a good question. Yeah, I would say that's on the 5 minute. Yeah, let's see if I'm on the. That's a good question. Maybe CB knows the CB knows.
I'm not positive, but I actually think that he was supposed to take that off. I think it's just strictly the ADR. I think that I'm not positive, but I think the five. I remember him telling me that the 5 was supposed to be taken off there. It may just the next version may be gone, but I think it's just the true average daily range for each of the each pair, each asset.
So basically, for whatever that range is on a day, and then maybe the average over a 5-day period is my guess.
That could be.
That's what James is saying just now, and Karina's saying the same thing. It's for the 5 days.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. So if you go into the settings, you click on the smiley face, you can actually change that. Yeah, you can change that if you wanted to, Al. So if you, not there, no. Oh yeah, there you go. Right. If you scroll down. Yeah, if you scroll down, you'll see it's just a little bit further, right there. Average daily range 5. So if you change that to say
5 days.
if you change that to 10 or something, it'll change that number. So that's what it is.
Yeah, apparently that's what they're saying is that Nate says to change it to 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't do that.
There you go.
There we go.
Thanks, guys.
And so then basically it just tells you how close you are to that average range. Second number, for example, like on this Euro Swiss, the average range is 40, and we're at 34 of the 40 already for the day. Aussie US, you have a little bit of extra room. Let's see, Aussie US. So probably take some of these charts off of here. How about Euro US should be a long if we find something on the Euro US. Let's just do a 15-minute. Oh, this one could be interesting. We're in an uptrend. The euro is stronger to the US, and we're not seeing any zones here. That's interesting.
Yeah,
it is on the 1 hour. We have a zone right here on the 1 hour. As we looked at that. Let's see what a 5-minute looks like. You would think that there would be a zone there.
You see it, you have the arrows there for the Euro USD, but your dashboard's not showing it.
Yeah, it was also not hardly showing any of the, I had to go to a higher time frame, 1 hour. That is a 1 hour zone, relatively strong zone, but that's not showing on the lower time frames. I would think that should have been there.
I think we've just made a higher high in the NASDAQ. All-time high.
Keeps on chugging along, doesn't it?
Yep.
Quite a move.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Let's see, we have an NZD USD. Too close. Here's the close. We only have 8 pips to the target, so no trade there. No matter how tight you want to make it. There's the SPX. Making new highs. How high will it go? I guess as long as they keep throwing money into the markets, I guess they'll keep on going up. New Zealand is starting to get stronger to the USD. Which should give this a New Zealand USD. This, let's see, nothing there. Too close. Yeah, could we get? I don't know if we get enough pips out of this one or not. This would be the entry. Here would be the target. Be $6 move. Nice to see a little bit more room on that one. Still not real comfortable with the indexes. Haven't quite figured them out yet. With those, you're better off just sticking with the bounce arrow go until you figure out another strategy that works for you. But with the dollar is weak, the market, the S&P generally gets stronger, so it's an inverse. British, here we go. Let's see, British Swiss, 15. We didn't get the British Swiss. Did we get British Swiss 15-minute chart? Sell. There we go. I don't like that one. Euro US. Buy on the 5. That didn't show up here. There's a rally basing. This thing could go up higher. Don't know where the top's going to be though. Let's take a look at that one on the Euro US. Let's take a look at that one on the different on trading view here. There's a Euro US on trading view. Let's take a look and see what it looks like on the daily chart over here. See where the targets would be. We have a nice little trend line coming in. This is on the daily chart on the left-hand side. Let's start with the daily since this is, we didn't have any zones before. Here's a high, here's a low. There's the first hit. So here's the anchor, here's a hit, here's a near hit coming up, retesting this area right in here. I'd be careful about taking this thing long right now. You could have a little bit of a trap up in this area. Now this is on a daily chart. Come on. I'd be careful of this area right here to get a little bounce off of this. It's got to get through these wicks before he can come up to this target. And let's see. I kind of like this in this area right in here. Take it to a 15-minute chart. That's our zone that we're looking at, where that would be the target area. Actually, the top of the wedge would be the target. Is there room to the upside? We have roughly 28 pips to the upside. This thing could be a trade.
Yoda says that Euro moved its ADR.
Euro US.
Oh, Euro just Euro moved its ADR.
Oh, okay.
You're saying. And we also have a message from LG. Could you guys look at the 5-minute S&P? I know you're just looking at the S&P, but was that the 15-minute you're looking at, Al?
Not sure. Just go to the S&P 5-minute. And it's got a little zone right up in top here. We don't quite have the cross of moving averages. This one is pointing up. They get the cross coming down. I don't like the range for the target on this one. I don't have a good feel for which way these things are going. I know it seems like it just keeps on climbing up higher and higher, but it also has some pretty trading in a really tight range on on any of these indexes. They're just moving in both directions rather quickly, and I just don't know where to get in on them, to be honest with you. I've been kind of staying away from them. I'm staying away from it. This would be your target up here if you want to take it. No, I would use 41.35 for a target.
He's saying no on the 15-minute, please.
15. Again, it's not showing any targets on the upside, but it's been making new highs. So there's not going to be a target because it's making new highs. Looking at from a 15-minute chart, I would say that you're kind of in a channel right now. And let's see where the other one is. See how many different hits we can get on this one. Kind of like these two right here, and this one kind of breached it, didn't close below it. And right now it's this will probably be the next. I mean, it's hanging out right now. It's in the upper half of this. If you do another trend line, see about in the middle. It's kind of testing it's been hanging out in the bottom half. This was in the upper half of this channel. Now it's kind of testing the bottom half to the midline of the channel. It doesn't have enough confirmation for me to take it in either direction. That's the 1 hour. Why have we don't know? Oh, I did that to get the range on it. Let's go take a look at the Euro British here. Well, that one's rather aggressive. It's interesting, just not seeing the zones. I don't remember not seeing zones like this before. There's one. Not sure what to do with these. And if you're not sure, you just sort of stay out of it and wait till things become a little bit clearer. British USD, that's the one I think we went short with earlier. We got out of that one. That was that news announcement. Kind of whipped us around a little bit. May have been okay if we stayed into it. We are in a downtrend. Crossover. Here's where the one we took some heat on it. Probably had we stayed in it, we might have been all right on it, but didn't fit my criteria. And so right here, they had the arrow. And the target would be down here. A little bit after the fact right now, but I believe we got into this trade. So I got into this Euro British or British USD somewhere around 7:30. 14:30. Yeah, this was the arrow that we took the trade on earlier. We've been okay. We should have. This is one I should have, could have, would have. It did fit the criteria with the 40 pip stop. You still would have been okay with this. I got out a little bit earlier. I had a little bit larger position than I would have wanted to use with a 40 pip stop. But here's the zone. Here's the target. We've got the 20 pips out of that one. That would have been a winning trade. I got out of it too soon. And with that, any other questions? Questions, comments?
Doesn't appear so.
No.
Good year.
Should we keep it going a little bit longer, or should we wrap it up for the day here? I don't know if anybody's going to be in that other room or not.
I actually, and I probably should have checked with you, Al. I just texted in the Arrow chat that we were going to keep going for at least a little bit. But
Okay, all right. Well, that's okay.
I
We'll
didn't
do
say how
that then.
long, but yeah.
Okay, well, let's at least let it go till the market opens till 9:30 and see what happens then. See if anybody wants to come on over to the Hawkeye session. Maybe we'll get more takers here earlier on. Let's see what else we have here. British, Euro British. I don't like the fact that we're not getting these upper zones. I don't know if that's just the way the charts are, or if there's something that's going on with the charting system.
Here's something you want to hear, Al, from Juan. He stayed in the pound US, didn't even realize that he hit take profit. I was typing and listening. All three trades won today thanks to this call.
Oh, good.
Awesome.
He did better than I did. I closed out that British US after that news announcement because I didn't know where it was going.
Yeah, I got 20 pips out of that one too.
Did you? Yeah, there again, had I followed the rules of the 40 pips and 20 pips, I would have been fine. I was reading something into it that I didn't need to do. And that's what you have to be careful of. Don't try and recreate the wheel. Things that are proven, just let them be proven until they're proven otherwise.
You have another chance for the pound US dollar right now if you wanted it.
Pound USD, well, by golly, we do, don't we?
I don't like the second arrow quite as much.
Well, not only that, but the fact it had that wick and got rejected, but there might be, could come down and retest that a little bit. I wouldn't want to go past where that wick is, and even that would be kind of iffy. Let's see what the
Big wick.
There's 22 that's 22 pips to the downside there. 15-minute chart. And actually, this is right about the same spot where the other one was.
Yep.
Let's see if it's, let me see where my heat map is. Let's see, pound US. Pound US, weak, 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 weak. Not enough range there. That's sort of,
Yeah.
I'm going to pass on it, even though I don't want to do any revenge trading. I don't want to say, well, I got out of it too soon because the profits have already been made. You've already hit your profit target. But everything's still in play. It still hasn't hit the zone. And the money zone from yesterday is the low of the money zone is down here. And actually, if you look at this thing, here's the money, here's the top of the money zone from yesterday. And that's about where this move started. Came back to made a high, made a lower high. And here's the bottom of the money zone here of yesterday's zone. So between these two blue, and right now we're right in the middle of it. And let's see, it's made an equal bottom. Here's a high, here's a higher high. Right now it's pretty much trading inside this range. Is in a downtrend. And here's the money zone for today. It's over here. Right now it's inside of yesterday's range. No clear direction. I say you want to just try and keep things weighed in your favor. How about Euro British? Let's see what that one looks like. Euro British 15-minute. And the euro is strong, so you would. Oops, I got the wrong one. Euro. That's better. Let's do an analyze this one since we don't know where the top of it is. Euro British. Put it on a daily chart, see where we are. And we have a little zone right in here. I see a zone on the daily. We did have a break. Here's a little trend line here. We did get the break of the trend line coming on up into this area. All of our moving averages start to move up. We get a bounce off this. This is a daily moving average. That's a key point. Let's look at it on a 1 hour chart. Do have Euro strong today. Let's go to 15-minute chart. See what. And we have, here was the zone. That one's broken. We don't need that one anymore. Pretty much of a flat top. It did break this range right in here. So actually, this was the playground it was looking in last couple of days. Here's a high. Here's a low. Here's the low. That's pretty much a equal hit there. Snap the bottom of this. Let's see where price lines are here. There's our 15-minute zones. Now this little zone right here, it could be a target. It could pass. Yeah, I'd be looking at this area right in here. Which one? Here's a green zone. And up here's the blue, right away up in there. So we'll have to wait and see what how the market opens before I get into any more trades. This would be the area right around the 87.38 area would be the next area where you probably have some problem getting through. You see it came down, retested, came back down, retested. This is a key area right here between these two red lines. Let's put it on a 30-minute chart and see how this candle is going to close out after the at 9:30. Big wick up past this zone, wicked up, couldn't hold it. We get like a little bit of a flag pattern here. We have it like rally, a little bit of a base, and it could come on up and retest, or it could come back down. Right now, I have no real clear indication of where it's going to go. It'd just be a gamble. Try not to do that. With the U.S. CAD, that's looking interesting. The Canadian dollar is getting stronger. This could possibly be a bank induction move here. We get a strong move down into the zone. Uptrend. But the Canadian dollar is showing the strength on this one. Is it? We have 4 more minutes before the market opens. So we'll sit on our hands. Yes, answer any questions if anybody has some.
Doesn't seem to be anything at the moment.
No, it's kind of quiet right now. Well, we'll see how the market opens. If something happens that gives us a chance to get in, we do that. And if not, we'll wrap it up for the day. I do like this little dashboard because that way you can just sort of see what's kind of active, what's not. I said that it's not always showing everything, but that's why you have that other little, and you can get that little pop-up if you don't know to do that. Go to the properties, and there's a little thing here to be able to show where the pop-up is. Alert sound messages. I've got my alert notification to true, and then when you get the alerts that pops up, gives you that little backup of if it's not showing on the dashboard, it'll get you the pop-up. That way you may not miss it, at least bring your attention to it. Like I said, a lot of this, what it does, it just brings your attention to the chart, and then you have to make your decision whether or not if it's a strategy, and there's 10 of them, 9 or 10 of the strategies. Most of the ones we're looking at are market maker moves, bank induction. We're looking at the basic bounce arrow go, and then just looking at overall price action analysis to see which way, if there's room to take the trade.
Hey, Al.
Yes.
I'm just wondering, have you seen where there was not an indicator on the dashboard, but you did get that window, the alert window popping up for you like you just showed there? Have you seen
Yeah,
that?
actually we actually had one this morning.
Okay, that's good to
popped
know.
up, yeah, the notification gave us a notification, but it didn't show up on the dashboard.
Got it. That's good to know.
Yeah. I didn't, what I may start doing is if I see that, note which pair to see if it's a pair specific or not.
Mm-hmm.
It could just be part of something, a little glitch in the typing of the program to where it may be missing it somehow. British US, we are at 2 minutes before the market. Let's see what the British US is doing here. This is the one that we were in earlier that I got out, but people made them profit on it. I'm happy about that for everybody. I bet in another 1 minute, we'll probably see a bunch of pop-ups over here as these 5 minute, we'll be looking at a 5, 15, and 30 minute candle closes in another 36, 37 seconds. And about 9 seconds before the opening bell in the US market. And there we go. And the race is on. Off to the races. There's an Aussie US buy on a 15 minute. Aussie, there's a buy there. Yep, that one worked. British US. British US, nothing here. We got one right here on the sell. Actually, that was a few minutes ago. Never mind. That was the last. Aussie US, basically, that's what we have here. Aussie US, up arrow, down. Looks like it's going to be a downtrend. Let's see. Scroll in, see where we are with trend-wise. In a downtrend. Down arrow. And we have the up arrow right into the zone. No trade there.
Wow, this NASDAQ is just not knowing which way to go.
Nor do I. Yeah, so I'm just staying away from the NASDAQ, the S&P. I'm just staying away from them right now. And I just haven't seen anything that I would call obvious. NASDAQ, again, soaring to new heights.
Gold might be interesting later on. It's made a big move, and it may be bouncing here.
That went right up into a zone.
Yeah.
We're getting a few people popping in over here. Here's a no bounce arrow go, but here's the bounce. Here's the arrow. That would have been the go right there. That would have been all the way back here at what time was that one?
It's in a downward trend though, Al.
Yeah, I'm just looking at this. When did we get that alert? That was at 7 o'clock this morning. We had that one.
Yeah.
No trade there. Aussie US. We looked at that already. Down arrow. Okay, this could be this one could possibly maybe develop into something here. Aussie US. Aussie is getting stronger to the US dollar. They'd have to break through the zone to be able to do anything.
Again, that's a downtrend though. It might be
it'd be contra trend.
Yeah. Well, right. No, it's a downtrend chart, so we might be able to get into it later if it.
Yeah, possibly bounce.
Yeah.
To the downside here. It's not making new highs. Here's the high from yesterday's high. If we take this, here's the money zone, yesterday's money zone, and it did break through the bottom. Here's yesterday's zone right there. That could be, we could use that maybe as a potential target if we get a bounce with a down arrow. We'd have 20 pips. And we don't really have a zone below there. Why don't you do all the way down here? But that would mean that the dollar would have to get stronger. Let's see what the German 30 is doing here. I don't know if the German 30 would follow the US market or not. Or how it would relate to the dollar. It's in an uptrend. This big wick would concern me to do anything. Right now, we had some buyers that drove it on up to this zone. The question is, would these buyers be sitting down here again or not? We do have a little trend line going on right here. There's a high, here's a hit, there's the anchor, here's the hit. like to see a little bit more of a pullback off this hit, and then come up to retest it. Strong. It's interesting. This wick right here came down, it blew through this pivot, it blew through this pivot, couldn't hold this one. So this was the area, a little bit of an area where there's some buyers down here still. I'd be careful with this area right in here where I'm looking at, there might be some buyers in this area. If you look over here, you'll see that this wick was taken out. It couldn't close below. It could not close below any of these lower close candles. You have a little bit of a trend. Kind of like it from, let's see how this. Trying to fit this out. The fact that this thing got blown through here like that, it almost like nullifies. I like that better. Here's the anchor, here's a hit, there's a hit, rejection. So there's some buyers right around in this area right in here. And this is basically the new playground. What we have, here's the high, here's the low, and that's a new low from yesterday, new high from yesterday. So this is like this would be like a daily engulfing candle of the previous day. Let's see what's Bitcoin doing today. Yeah, new high overnight, 63. Not ready to give it up yet either. Aussie US, Aussie US, two of them. And we don't want to go short on the Aussie US yet. The Aussie's showing too much strength right now. If we get a bounce off of this zone, we may have something. There was a zone right here where the arrow was, that just went away. Move that on up. So that means it's chewing up some of these upper zones. Let's go to a 5-minute chart and let's see what we have on a 5-minute chart. And would we have 15 minutes to the next zone? 15 pips? Do we have 15 pips to that? That's only 5 pips. It looks a lot more, but it's only 5 pips. I couldn't even take that in if I wanted to with a 5 pip target. that one's got 20 pips to this, but it's contra trend. You're still always better just trading with the trend. You have a little bit, just an extra odd enhancer for you. This would be the entry off of this 15-minute candle. The 15-minute, there's room to the 15-minute off of this. That's 18 pips, but we have that zone, that 5-minute zone in the way. Actually, no, we don't either. It's get a little pullback. Let me mark that zone here. We'll see what happens in the next minute on this 15-minute candle. See if it can close above this little wick right here. The thing I'm looking at with this is I'm looking at this, the Aussie's getting stronger to the U.S., the Aussie stronger to the U.S., the Aussie stronger to the U.S. There's about equal. We have a 3-point spread on the 15-minute. That's one of my criterias, 4-point and 3-point. So just pointing down on that one. The Aussie's starting to lose a little bit of its punch to the upside. $6.30. Let's see how this candle closes. Right now we're making a, off the 15-minute candles, 30.15. That one didn't show up down here. This candle made a higher high, higher low, higher close. It has a little bit of a pullback early on. Let's see if it can pull back to where the arrow alert was. See where our moving averages are on this one. It's above the 200 moving average, and this one's pointing up. Could possibly get something here. It'd be a little bit of aggressive, but doable, possibly. It's a buy. We have a buy arrow on the 5-minute. Take a shot at this one. I go for 5 pips. The Aussie's starting to get a little bit stronger on the other time frame. Yeah, let's take a look at the German 30. I just noticed that we got the alert here, but it did finally show up over here. The 15-minute sell. The bounce arrow go on this one. We are in an uptrend. We had this nice big move down. It came back up, retested the trend line. What do you think, Eva? Are you still here?
I'm still here. I'm busy looking at my NASDAQ. I'm just about ready to blow my account. So my attention's a little elsewhere at the moment.
Oh no, all right.
But I am monitoring things. Don't worry.
Okay, no, that's okay. You can mind the store. I can get this.
It's all right. It's kind of holding its own at the moment, but boy, oh boy. It's like watching one of those a sports game of some sort when you're on the edge of your seat. What's gonna happen? Sorry, what did you ask?
Well, I was just looking at the German 30. It looks like it's in an uptrend, but we got a bounce, we got an arrow.
And you're looking at the 15-minute?
Yeah, I'm looking at 15. Let me put it on a 5-minute.
Oh.
This one actually has some room to the downside here. We did get the bounce off the trend line. And let's see, the dollar's still weak.
I don't know.
Aussie's picking up some strength here.
What is? Sorry?
The Aussie US. I just take the Aussie US trade long. Going for 5 pips.
Okay. I don't know if I would touch this just yet.
Yeah, I don't like the fact that it's, I mean, I like the bounce here, but I don't like this area right here.
No. No, that's kind of
looking.
deceiving. You don't know what it's going to do now at this point, do you?
Yeah, at this one, I would probably be looking shape rectangle. I'd be looking at, it's got to get through this area, these wicks right here. To get through that, then we have room to the downside. Then it could retest this again. I don't want to see it get, I'd like to see a bounce off of this and then maybe get another arrow possibly. But we really didn't get it on the 5-minute. We didn't get the, here's the bounce, here's the arrow, there was the go. That's already happened. That's past history. We do have a 15-minute zone right up here, but we've got to get through this little area right there.
So oh look, there's a cell just popped up, an arrow just popped up, and so is that your zone?
There we go. Yeah, that's the 5-minute cell on the German.
Yeah.
So that'd be right where we are now. How much room do we have to the blue zone here?
And where's your 200 on this?
Good point. Good question. Template. Load. That's below. So we have a little bit of a, there's the arrow. There's a little bit of a pullback. Could maybe do a sell stop on this one.
So yeah, that.
We don't have the crossover of the, let me take a look at a sell stop on this. Trading. New order. Pending.
Because there's a fair amount of room to go down.
Yeah, sell stop. And we're going to sell stop at about 15 to 37. 15 to 37-ish. Stop. 247, take profit. 247.
It's right at 247. So
yeah, we can always see this one we'd be taking some heat on. If we can break through the bottom of this, that'd be. I didn't like that. Okay, let's try this again. Pending order, sell stop. 15.232. Let's try that. 15.2.
Yeah, your stop loss is pretty close to where price is, so you might not even want to put that in yet.
Yeah, I'm going to leave that one open.
Yeah.
Take profit at 15.222. 2. See if that will take it. That like that one.
Yeah.
So right now I'm not in the trade yet.
Actually, yeah, that's a good spot to get in under those wicks of those more recent candles.
Let's see, how are we doing on this? Oh, it's the US, that's still behaving itself. We have a trend line coming in from the top up here. There's a wick high. There's the anchor. There's the hit. Waiting for the third hit. We may not get it. And we have a little bit of here's a wick here. Came back down, rejected off of this. We have a point here. Take this one. There's where it was being rejected, and if it breaks through the bottom, if it breaks through with a close, I'll be happy about that, and then we could maybe look at this as a new area to come down to. But right now we're not in the trade. We'll just have it. If it comes back down, if this decides to come crashing on down, it will just get us in and just probably get us in and take our target all at the same time. And let's see how much we're actually looking at making on this one here. We have, that's maybe about a $6 move. Aussie dollar's looking pretty good. We're almost at our target on the Aussie. And so we're only going for 5 pips, 5 to 7 pips. If we get a bounce off of here, I'll just take the profits and say thank you very much. See if we can break through that little zone right there. It's having a little bit of trouble getting through that zone. I'm at 4, 4.5. There's 7, there's 9, there's pushing for 5. I'm going to take it off. I'll just take the profits on that one and be done with that one. We're done with that trade. This one, we're still looking at coming back up. And German 30, we have 2 shorts on a 5 and a 15 both. So this is a strong pullback. If we get a bounce off of the top of this, that might be the place to take it short. Right now we have a high, a lower high. Here's a low, here's a higher low. It's inside the wedge. And we don't have anything to gauge it with here.
It's an SPX 500 buy.
That one didn't show up on me. On which time frame? 5 minute?
That's on the 5 minute, yeah.
Let's take a look at that. Here's the buy. There's the...
Yeah, see, I don't like that because the NASDAQ and the S&P kind of move together. I want it to finally go down. That's what I want. What can you do for me, Al? Can you make it go down?
Yeah, just I can wait for it to go down.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks. I can do that.
Here's a high. Here's a low. Here's the playground right in here. So right now, here's the pivot high. Here's the lower high. Rejection. So we have there's the high. Here's the first hit right there. Draw the trend line. Waiting for the third hit on the trend line. And we'll see if we get, if it rejects off of that. Here, this could be our M right in here. Move up, left shoulder. Here's the middle of the M, right shoulder. And if it does, we have a trend line coming up from the bottom. And there's a low, strong rejection here. Marginal rejection there. Draw the trend line. bottom of the money zone. There's a first hit. Draw the trend line. Now this one could go down a little bit low. I would like to have seen this one go down a little bit lower. This is the middle of the M. It could come up, reject, come back down. I would be looking at a bounce off of this area right in here somewhere. S&P, where's the German? See how our German 30 is doing.
Still going up a little bit, looks like.
We just need to get right out of room down here. There's the German 30. Oh, aren't we glad we didn't take that trade off of this down arrow?
Yeah, no kidding. I'm starting to think more and more that that's kind of the ticket with these indices, I think, is to do like a buy stop or sell stop or.
Yeah, wait for it to kind of pull back and then see if it just
Yeah,
plows through just get you in.
seems to be a little bit safer.
Yeah.
Especially if it probably will go the way of the arrow, but do you really want to, like you say, emotional inventory?
Yeah.
You really want to have to watch all that drawdown, and it might even hit your stop at that point.
Yeah.
So.
You see how this is being rejected right up here? This trend line is being rejected.
Yeah.
And also you see how the moving averages came down. It couldn't cross over the 200, came back up. Moving average couldn't cross over the 200. Now if we get a close above on here, we could get it. And this is probably in an uptrend, I do believe. We ever determined that? It's kind of in an uptrend.
Yeah.
So if we can get a close above this point right here, then we could have some room to the zone up.
Yeah,
The dollar is weak. The German seems to be, the dollar is still plenty weak. If you look over on this, the dollar is still the weakest on all four currencies, all four pairs. And the euro is strong on the higher time frames. And that could be part of the strength with the German 30, as opposed, because the German market is still pretty strong over in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
So that would give the rise to that being strong. So I would say trade this to the upside as opposed to the downside. I'm going to pull this trade. I'm going to delete this one, get that out of the way. And we'll see if there's room to the upside on this. $22 to the upside. Here's a Euro Swiss buy. And I'm going to take a trade on this one. I'll take a buy on this one.
Yeah, that one's looking good.
Ooh, I must have had, well, that was I obviously didn't have my position size right on this one.
Oh, wow.
How did that happen?
I don't know.
I have 0.5, should be much less than that, I'm guessing. Well, that's something to be noted. I had a default set for 0.5, and obviously that's too much for this one.
Yeah.
Plus the spread. What's the spread on this right now?
Uh,
Oh, that's what 50. We have a 50-point spread on this. That's no good. That's something to be noted.
yeah, that's quite the size.
I mean, yeah, I mean, that's not even close to being. I'm going to have to get out of this trade. Can't do that. 50 pip spread. That's
it's a little crazy.
a little crazy.
Which, when it's moving, it's fine. But when it's just kind of fluttering around, then it's almost like heart attack material.
Well, it's showing a $50 spread on the NASDAQ as well. These are all showing the $20 on the S&P.
Yeah, there's weird stuff going on today.
I still like this for a buy, though.
Oh, there. Oh, you got into it again?
Yeah, I just made a more reasonable lot size on it.
Okay.
15,281 be my target.
And you're on demo though, right?
This one, yeah, this is a demo account here.
Yeah. So.
But we still have to trade it like it's a real
Look
thing.
where you would have been.
I'm going to have to rework my position sizing on this German 30 so I don't make that mistake again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a little frightening.
Even though I teach this stuff, I still make mistakes.
We are human, right? Oh, I can't bring the chat up. Oh, there it is. Good grief.
Here's a higher high, higher low, higher close, higher high, higher low. Let's see how this candle closes. Right now, this is trending, making new highs and higher lows.
Yeah. And that's like a W formation. I can kind of see loosely.
Yeah, it's kind of a short move down, came back up, made the hit, came back down, lower high, higher low. Here's your wedge, breaks out of the wedge, coming up to your target. And we'll see how this candle closes. We're on a 5-minute candle right now. And that's going to close in about another, you saw 3 minutes on this candle. Now what I'm looking at right now is here's a breakout of the wedge. There's a little bit of a wick over wick right in this area. We'll see if this can come back down and retest this little wick over wick area. That's basically retesting this pass and check. Passes it, comes back, checks it, and then goes back up again. And in the meantime, 15 minutes. We got US CAD. Let's see what the US CAD looks like. We are in an uptrend. We had a down arrow right into the zone. In an uptrend. Let's get a moving averages on here. Every time you take these things off the charts, you have to reload the template. Canadian dollar is getting stronger to the US dollar. So we don't want to take a long right at this point. We'd have to get a bounce, get an arrow before we take it long on that one. And let's go Euro Swiss, see what that one's looking like. Uptrend. Right up into the zone here. Not much room there, I don't think. Here's the arrow. Only 3 pips to the zone. Not enough room. Draw the trend line. And here's the anchor. Here's the hit. Don't have the rejection yet, so this one's not validated yet. You want to make sure that when you use these pivot with the trend lines, you want to make sure you get the bounce on the trend line and you get a rejection of that line. That helps to validate it. These are validated. This one is validated because it came up, was rejected. This one came up, it hasn't been totally rejected yet. So we don't know where this one's going to actually stop. It could be, and I'll just flat top this one right now for the moment. Right now it has a little bit of a slope to it. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll just put it right on the edge of the zone because it came out of the zone. See if it comes back up and tags the zone again.
Eden's asking if, and what your thoughts on gold are.
I like gold. That doesn't really answer his question, I'm sure. Let me
Not
see.
really, no.
Gold. It's coming back up to getting some new highs. It's breaking through some zones. There was a red zone right here. Then we have another zone that's bouncing off of this one.
I like it also, Eden says.
I like gold in the sense where I just kind of hang on to it. I don't trade it. I just hang on to it. Let me see something here. Okay, so yeah, it's up to the zone. 15-minute chart. Let's see where the moving averages are here.
Wow, that was a big move up there.
Well, it was, let's see, how are we doing on our German? Yeah, we're still hanging in there okay with the German. We don't have the crossover of the moving averages, but came right up into the zone. Didn't really bounce either. It kind of tagged this, but didn't really bounce off of it. I would not really view this as a bounce arrow go, although it would have worked.
I don't think I'd do anything with that considering it's...
Yeah, I can't do anything with it right now. If this was crossed over and had a bounce with this thing crossed over, then I say we'd be off the races. Just like you look over here to the, if I can expand my chart here. Here we had the cross. Well, we didn't even get the crossover. This one's still in a downtrend. Came back up, couldn't cross over. It's coming back up. We'll see if it can cross over. It may not be able to cross over. This may be might give us an opportunity to actually take it short. Off of this time frame, we have equal zones, but you have to scale in a little bit to see if that changes. You see, we are in an uptrend off of this. Where are we at? A 5-minute chart here.
Mhm. No, it's 15.
15. Okay. Yeah, we're in an uptrend. When you start looking at lower time frames, the trend is more valuable in the higher the time frame. But that doesn't mean you can't trade the lower time frames. So let's see where we at. I got lots of alerts here. Let's this one, Euro. And we're already talking about this one. We're trying to get a rejection off of that. 15-minute. Let's see, US CAD bounce. We're in an uptrend with this. Crossing moving averages. CAD is still strong. There's no trade there. It's too close to the zone, and not enough. It'd have to break through this zone before I could take it short. But that's a possibility. Maybe down the road here a little bit. But have to break through that, and then you might have enough room to the downside. From here down to here, that's 20 pips. If you can get a break of this with a down arrow, we may have enough room to get to it'd be somewhat contra trend, but the Canadian dollar is showing strength. The dollar is showing weakness today. Pretty consistently, actually. How's my German 30 doing? Don't want to miss the... Here's a nice little rally. Here's a little basing right here, and it could go to rally up a little bit higher still. I was a little hesitant to get out of that, even though I knew I had the wrong position size. I still was feeling comfortable that it was going to go break up to the upside, but I didn't want to risk getting margined out with the drawdown that I had. And why it was that much, I'm really not real clear on that, and I have to investigate that one a little bit further. Here's a British USD. Got the alert by 15-minute. British USD. There's the alert, 15-minute. Gonna be the target. 67.43. Here was the entry. There's where the arrow was. It's pulling back a little bit. 43 to 67. Got 20 pips there. It is somewhat contra trend. The British is, again, I'm looking at the chart. British US, they're still bottom third. This one's getting a little bit stronger. This one's getting stronger. So it does have some room to the upside with the strength. The British is strengthening to the US dollar. And let's see, do we have 5 pips? What kind of room do we have from the top of this candle to here? We have 15 pips. Here's a break. Here's a trend line. Rejection came up. Here's the pass coming back, checking this area right in here. And I could possibly do a buy stop on this one at 132.45. British, 132.45. So let's try that here. New order. Market is pending. A buy stop. 137.45. 137.45. Place that. If I get in, I'll set my stop and targets. Check the German 30 while we're here.
Now, I've got a question for you. I'm not sure if you're going to know the answer to this or not. Do you have any idea how to change the font on the pip measurement tool? I know it's an MT4 platform issue, but I thought I'd put it out there.
On the pip measurement, on the, you mean on the sidebar here?
No.
On the pip measure, oh, the pip measurement. Oh, with
yeah.
You mean with this one? Change the font on that? Is that what he's talking about?
Yeah.
Anyone
in the group know?
Possibly common.
No, that'll be
that's not going to do it. Yeah, that's not going to do it.
I've already advised Sandy to go to the help section, but I just thought I'd throw it out there in case anybody knows.
Yeah, I don't know it off the top of my head here.
Somebody's asking, please explain buy stop.
Buy stop. Basically, a buy stop is when the price is below where you want to enter and you want to go long on the trade. Basically you want to go up. You want the buy stop to be set above the price so that when the price comes up to it, it gets you into the trade. Sell stop would be just reverse. It was like right now, if I were, well, let's see, let me go to the chart where I was at here. British US is what we're looking at here on this one. So basically the price is, right now, we had the arrow. The price is below where I want to get in. So I put a buy stop in. So that way, when the price comes up, it enters my trade as it comes up through the price to my target. A sell stop would be just the opposite. If let's say I wanted a sell stop, I'd have the sell stop set for down here because the price is now above where I want to get in. And as it comes back down, because the theory is that as it's pulling back, you don't know how far it's going to pull back. So if you want to do a sell stop, you would have it say you think it's going to go short. As this thing is above, once it comes through here, and you just want to just kind of keep on going right down. It gets you in, hoping the idea is you already have the pullback. Now you want to get in on the next momentum leg. So, and that's basically what it is you have in this case, we have a strong up move as the pullback. Once it gets above this candle, I want it to have the pullback, and then once it pulls back, has come right up into my target. Like a regular stop loss would get you out of the trade, a buy stop or a sell stop would get you into the trade. Hopefully that answers your question. And my British US, where's my British US, my Euro? Let's see.
Okay, Jose Um, he's asking if you guys are on profit and we miss the entry to the trade, can we still enter? You can enter as long as you have enough room. And it depends on when the entry was recommended by Arrow and when you want to enter. If you're already like 15 pips into a move one way or the other, I don't think I would do that.
Yeah.
So it all depends on what the chart looks like at the time you're getting, like when you're looking at it and wanting to get in.
You don't want to chase trades because that's where most people get themselves into trouble, by chasing the trades. You want it to be somewhere. If it's within a couple pips, you're just going to give up some. But then I would decrease your target expectations. If you can't, if you have the, notice, like, here's the arrow. We have, here was basically where the arrow, this would have been the ideal entry right here. If you're within a couple pips of that, you're okay, probably just go ahead and doing it. But if you can't get in within, like, you don't want to have it taken off and try and get it up here, because look what's happening here. It's starting to pull back.
Yeah.
So you don't want it, but now if it pulls back to where your original entry was, yeah, there's no reason not to take it as long as everything's still looking right. Right now it's still in an uptrend. We have a strong move up, basing, and this is almost like, this could almost qualify for. Let's see. Well, let's say a Fibonacci move, but it's a little bit more of a deeper retracement. But if we had the Fibonacci's on this thing, I would not consider this to be a Fibonacci move. Let's say you're up here like this. It came back down. Here's your strong move up. Here's your here's your impulse move. Here's your correction move. It came back down to the 61%. Here's a it retraced 61% of the move. The next target is going to be this line. Next target would be this line. So I'm okay with having this 38% being my target based on this Fibonacci move. So this is a little bit deeper than ideally I'd like seeing maybe about 30 to 50% retracement, but it did retrace back, came back, hit where it broke the high, which is also the same point as this trend line. Here's your trend line, which is right at that high. Here was your pullback. It broke the trend line, broke it here. There's a little bit of wick over wick area right in here. See where this strong move up has a wick, candle closed, short little wick here, took off again. Let's call that little wick over wick area. And now we're still looking for it. Now it's starting to, here's a flag, which someone mentioned earlier about a flag earlier this morning. Here's your flagpole. Here's the flagpole. Here's your flag right up in here. When you get a move like that, oftentimes you're going to still get a continuation. I would view this as going to be a continuation pattern. I may be wrong, but that's the way I'm going to chart this thing. Here's your little flag right in here. And so once we have that, so now we have our Fibonacci. Let me take this off and redraw the Fibonacci object list. So now I would like the Fibonacci from here to pull back. And then if it could pull back from that, then the next target may be up a little bit higher still. It has this little zone to break through, but I would be looking at this. Here's the move up. Here's the pullback. The pullback is, came up. Here's a pullback, 38% pullback right here. Next target would be this one. Next target would be this one. And oftentimes when you get a flag pattern, it goes all the way up to the 100% retrace, the same value length of this stick. If it breaks to the top, we talked about sticks before. Oh. Here's the length of this. Oftentimes with these flag patterns, you'll get a 1-to-1. And here would be the target up here. Now it's coming back to retest. It pulled up. Now this one's good, breaking out a little bit lower, but it's still right at the 38%. So it hasn't really violated that yet.
No, you're going to be on your own for a minute here. I've got to leave the computer for a
Yeah,
couple.
we're gonna wrap it up. Here we're gonna wrap it up in about 3 minutes. It's time to. We've been at it for 3 hours. That's enough. Give everybody a little bit of something since they didn't have the other session today.
Yeah. I'll be back shortly.
Yeah, but you see right now it's coming down. It's retesting the trend line, retesting the moving average. Right now, this moving average is right here at the trend line. It's right at the 50% retracement. So you have like 3 points of interest right here at this level. You have the 50% retracement, you have the arrow moving average, and you also have the trend line retest. Now you move this thing down to wherever this thing comes down. Now we'll just see how this thing plays out here just a little bit, and then we're gonna close this thing, close up shop here for the day. Any other quick questions before we go? See how this thing right now it pulled back just a little bit past the 38. It came right at 38 to 50% retracement. Which is pretty much the same area as this little wick over wick area. Came right down. Now we'll see if this is gonna hold or not. You have a little low. Here's a higher low. Let's move this thing down here. One thing I don't like is actually, well, it broke out of this trend line, and it's still respecting the trend line, and it's still respecting the wedge. And with that, I think we're going to wrap this thing up today. Keep an eye on this one if you're in this trade. If it comes down to retest the trend line, the moving average, I think it's still it's still going to come up and to hit our target. I'm still going to stay with my stop is. Where's my stop on this one? Or did I already take my profit? Where did my trade go? There it is. I just need to get my stop in here. My stop on this one's going to be pretty much on the other side of this moving average, of this trend line. Right now, it still seems like it's in an upward trend. I'll keep my stop somewhere around the 15,239. I don't have that put in here yet. Let's see. Oh, this is not right. $239. And target is 15,283. We might just target down a little bit here. If it can get me out at this top of this move up, comes back up and retest that, I'll be good with that. So anyway, that's what we have for the day. Thanks everybody for coming in. And any other last questions? And thanks everybody for being here. We appreciate every one of you. Stay safe, stay green, and we'll see everybody tomorrow. Again, the Hawkeye session 7:30 to 9. Not sure what's going to happen with the other sessions, so they're needing to get some instructors to be available. So with that, have a great day.